Good morning and welcome to Coverings Connected. Thanks for joining us for the first live webinar of today, 2022 Tile Trends. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items. All attendees are in listen-only mode. You may submit text questions to today's presenters by typing your question into the chat section of the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. We will share with the presenters during the Q&A at the end of the presentation, getting to as many as time allows. If you're having problems connecting or any other issues, often closing the window and starting a new window will fix the problem. If you're having problems with your computer audio, call the number on your invitation to listen via your phone. Make sure to visit the website to take advantage of other great National Tile Day content and take time to share your tile success stories on Covering social media. I'd now like to turn it over to our moderator, Elena Capra, Covering spokesperson and owner, Elena Capra Designs. Take it away, Elena.
Thanks so much, Michelle. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Tile Trends presentation. The panelists and I are thrilled to be with you all today on National Tile Day to celebrate this wonderful and versatile material. And we have an incredible group of panelists joining us today. And it's always exciting and refreshing to see what each new year brings in way of tile trends, and 2022 definitely does not disappoint. From crisp, clean, and golden arches, and plaster looks, and warm stones, this year's most important tile trends are primed for several residential and commercial applications. And all of the tile trends presented today were provided by Ceramics of Italy, Tile Counts of North America, and Tile of Spain, 3 of the 5 owners of Coverings. And once we've reviewed all of the tile trends, our panelists will each present a case study that further illustrates a trend and how it's been applied to a project. So we've got a lot of great case studies coming up as well. But before I jump into the top 10 tile trends of 2022, given that today is National Tile Day, I would be remiss if I did not address why ceramic tile is a superior surface material. So ceramic tile creates dramatic first impressions. Even a modest area can come to life with colors and texture of tile. Ceramic tile is not just for kitchens or baths, it's a great option for creating beautiful living or work environments indoors and out. And let's take a look into the 7 primary fantastic benefits of ceramic tile that you should be aware of, and those are up here on our screen. We all know ceramic tile is unmatched when it comes to versatility and design, but ceramic tile is also one of the healthiest and most hygienic surface options available. So with reason number 1, let's take a look at the primary health and hygienic benefits of ceramic tile. Ceramic tile contains no harsh chemicals or irritants like VOCs, formaldehyde, allergens, or plastic, which can impact indoor air quality along with human environmental health. Here on the right is a chart to highlight key differences of chemicals and irritants of concern found in other flooring as compared to ceramic tile. And there's a small orange text link underneath that provides a link to the information shown as well. Indoor air quality is crucial for our health. The EPA actually states that Americans spend 90% of their time indoors, and that pollutant concentrations are often 2 to 5 times higher indoors than out. Young children, older adults, or anyone with respiratory or cardiovascular disease are more susceptible to the harmful effects of pollutants. Every indoor surface should be reviewed for effects on air quality, and ceramic tile's advantages over non-ceramic surfaces make for a smart option for families with these health concerns. Ceramic tile offers several benefits that help promote healthy indoor air quality in your home or in your building. Ceramic tile is made of naturally occurring inorganic materials and does not contain harmful chemicals, as we just saw on that previous slide. So ceramic tile surfaces are also hypoallergenic. The raw materials and processes used to make ceramic tile contain no allergens, unlike many other flooring types. A non-porous ceramic surface also doesn't harbor allergens in the environment such as dust mites, dirt, pollen, pet dander, cockroach allergens, mold spores, and fungi. While some non-ceramic flooring materials trap these irritants where they may be difficult to remove or become airborne and recirculate in your home or building. On ceramic tile, they merely settle on the surface where you can easily wipe with just a cloth and water. Another healthy and hygienic aspect of ceramic tile is its antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. Ceramic tile surfaces are inorganic and inert, meaning they naturally resist the growth of bacteria, mold, mildew, and other fungi. And these microorganisms need to feed on an organic substance in order to grow. Mold and mildew growth found on organic surfaces, that includes anything made with petroleum like vinyl and carpet, may cause headaches, allergic reactions, other health issues, making the presence in a home a potential health concern. Some ceramic tile options offer antimicrobial properties, which can suppress and destroy the growth of harmful microorganisms or germs, including bacteria, viruses, and fungi that can cause diseases or otherwise affect our health. Lastly, ceramic tile does not contain PVCs, plastic, or other plastic materials. PVC is the world's third most widely produced synthetic plastic polymer and a common ingredient in vinyl flooring options, including LVT. PVC and plastic are regularly a subject of concern among health and environmental experts and builders. Many types of plastic flooring, such as vinyl and LVT rigid core board, can be difficult to recycle and will not decompose naturally in a landfill. Ceramic tile is the ideal material choice since it's free of these health and environmental concerns. So our second benefit is that ceramic tile is easy to clean. Ceramic tile's low maintenance makes it easier to maintain a hygienic and clean environment. The cleaning routine is stress-free, simply sweep, wipe clean with water, and dry thoroughly. Water alone is enough to clean up most messes, reducing the need of harsh chemical cleaners in your home. And for some additional information on this topic, there is the Ultimate Guide to Ceramic Cleaning on ytile.com. So you can check that out there for more information. Ceramic tile's superior performance means less mess and, of course, more peace of mind. Ceramic tile's low maintenance, so whatever life throws at you or on your surfaces, you are ready for it. And with a lot of these low maintenance benefits, stain resistance, water resistant, slip resistant, and fade resistant, it's really no wonder that ceramic tile has one of the lowest life cycles costs for any flooring. And as I just alluded, the third benefit of ceramic tile is water resistance. Tile's history of use in waterproof applications and high standards for performance makes ceramic tile a time-tested, trusted product for wet areas. Waterproof insulation systems are nothing new to the ceramic tile industry. Tile has always been the trusted choice for showers, bathrooms, baths, pools, spas, and many other applications where a waterproof assembly is necessary. And tile product and installation standards and industry best practices are referenced every day by designers, suppliers, installers to achieve successful waterproof systems. Not only can installations of ceramic tile be waterproof, but sometimes tile can have slip-resistant options, providing better traction, making ceramic tile a perfect choice for showers, swimming pools, patios, and other wet areas. Ceramic tiles also do not swell or degrade with moisture, and ceramic tile surfaces are unchanged when exposed or submerged in water as well. So our fourth benefit is that ceramic tile is durable. Ceramic tile properly selected and installed maintains its original qualities and lasts longer than most other surface options. Ceramic tile's hard surface doesn't scratch easily, scuff, tear, dent, puncture, or gouge. And the color of ceramic tile is baked right in, so it doesn't fade in sunlight or by cleaning, like dyes used in other surface materials can. Ceramic floors also continue to look the same, so you can change and move your furniture around without any fear of denting or scratching. Not only is tile great for people, but it's great for even our messy and beloved playful pets. Due to its durability, ceramic tile is the right choice for exterior applications as well. Ceramic tile surfaces, both indoor or outdoor, will not fade over time, unlike other flooring materials due to color bleaching UV rays from the sun. Ceramic tile can also handle all temperatures and climates, as it has the ability to withstand freeze-thaw cycles and will not buckle or warp with temperature changes. Ceramic tiles have slip-resistant options as well, and that's ideal for outdoor walkways, patios, and pool decks, like you just saw in the previous slide. Ceramic tile surfaces are made to last. They could be used for generations without replacement. The potential service life of ceramic tile is at least as long as the buildings in which they are installed. Using a building service life of 50 years, ceramic tile costs less per square foot than any other permanent and long-use flooring options. So we've got this chart here on the right, you can see that. And the study is being updated using a service life of 75 years, the new product category rule for flooring. So our fifth benefit is that tile is a sustainable surface choice. Ceramic tile has been both the lowest global warming potential and the lowest fossil fuel resource depletion based on comparison of publicly available flooring environmental product declarations, or EPDs. These are both key metrics to consider when determining a material's carbon footprint. Unlike other surface materials, ceramic tile industry has EPDs, the vehicle to communicate ceramic tile's environmental transparency. Covers the full install tile system with the addition of tile mortar and grout EPDs, where other industries just have EPDs for their surface material and not the installation materials as well. Triple transparency also means triple the Green Building Program credits, 1 point for ceramic tile, grout, and mortar due to the 3 EPDs. There's also a high demand for this product ingredient transparency, the human health and wellness side of green build programs, and a high demand for transparency around the presence of toxic chemicals in a product. This has been driven by many, including leading architectural firms, as shown on the slide. The tile industry's answer, the Ceramic Tile Material Ingredient Guide, was released the summer of 2021. It's the first of its kind initiative by any building product industry. Industry-wide Green Select toxicological assessments of ingredients used to manufacture ceramic tile, mortar, and grout addresses emerging green building health demands for transparency. The Material Ingredient Guide also includes a library of information to help suppliers and specifiers. The guide includes a library of green screen assessments for 34 ingredients and demonstrates the tile industry's full transparency. This allows ceramic tile manufacturers to more thoroughly report on health assessments of ingredients in their products, and it presents the opportunity to obtain maximum contribution to green and healthy building projects. And lastly, from a sustainability standpoint, ceramic tile's environmental impacts for manufacturing, installation, and disposal are considered only once when considering the life of the building, unlike some other non-ceramic flooring options that need to be replaced frequently, each time adding to their environmental impact. And as I've already said, but it's worth mentioning again, ceramic tile is also 100% plastic-free, meaning the health and environmental concerns associated with plastic are not an issue with ceramic tile. Reason number 6, ceramic tile is fire and smoke resistant. Ceramic tile is non-combustible, and because it won't burn, melt, or contribute to a fire, ceramic tile surfaces aid in keeping a clear and safe exit path during a fire as well. They won't produce smoke or emit toxic fumes in the case of high heat or flame, as some other non-ceramic construction materials and flooring can. And as you're probably aware, smoke inhalation can lead to fire death as well as long-term health impacts to firefighters. And finally, our last reason, design versatility. With advances in tile manufacturing over the last 50 years, design options today are affordable and effectively limitless. Ceramic tile has the functionality to be installed on all of your surfaces: floor, wall, backsplash, shower, ceiling, countertops, pool, patio, and so much more. And with a vast array of colors, shapes, sizes, textures, and designs, you can truly create endless one-of-a-kind designs to suit any decor and just about every need. And there is a resource library on whytile.com where you can find numerous helpful resources to help understand and communicate to your customers the benefits of selecting ceramic tile for your next project. And that is all listed here. And now, we've just wrapped up on why ceramic tile, all of the great benefits, why it's a great material. Let's get to the trends. So our 2022 tile trends, we've got 10. We've narrowed it down to just 10. There are so many. And these are just a quick snapshot of the 10 I'm going to bring you through with some beautiful images. So we've got a lot of shapes and sizes. We've got all of these great, there's so many different, such a great variety that there really truly is something for every use and every project. So our first trend is Baroque. And this is from the 17th century, the Baroque style. It really dominated European art and architecture and defined by a sense of movement and grandeur. Similarly, these tiles are full of exuberance, and especially when they're on these floor-to-ceiling porcelain slabs. There's such a grandness to the look. And as you can see in these first two photos, there's a lot of dramatic looks being produced, striking veining, bolder color, and of course, over here, this beautiful gold veining, and even in the blues. It's all about grandeur and luxurious looks with this Baroque trend. Our next trend is bas relief, and I'm very excited about this trend. Its ceramic tile production has really reached impressive levels of high definition printing. And this is why surface design is the new frontier in tile. We've got rounded edges that simulate ancient stone, and then low relief that adds depth and structure. And manufacturers truly have invested heavily in new technologies this past year to create ceramic and porcelain tiles that truly break through the third dimension. This is such a beautiful trend and so lifelike in the printing as well. So our next trend is captivating colors. It's all about color, and we can't talk about ceramic tile trends without mentioning color. There are many layers and new trend-setting ceramic tile colors for 2022, and we've summarized it into three groupings or three palettes, if you will. So as you're seeing in some of this picture, this is our pastel color palette. We are seeing beautiful roses and mints and sage and even sky blue. And this is all about that soothing and organic effect to interiors. And we've seen a lot of this sort of color hue and color palette in the industry with the Benjamin Moore and Sherwin-Williams colors of the year, October Mist and Evergreen Fog. So this softer pastel look. And then we have also got earthy jewel tones as well. We are seeing stuff in leafy greens and rich clays, of course, and colors that come from the earth as well. We've got brick and amber, we've got emeralds, colors that are in nature and just a little bit amped up in this beautiful jewel tone. And then we're also bringing some colors from centuries past. So you're also going to see a lot of terracottas and creamy tans, sandy beiges, and even Santorini blues. So I'm very excited about all of these colors. I mean, typically we might have focused on one color trend, perhaps it's blue or green. This is so great because there's so many all-encompassing palettes and a lot of great colors on tile to see, especially at this year's coverings. So our next trend, we have got crisp and clean. And this is all about the new era of ceramic design, a more delicate approach and parallel lines, artisanal textures, and organic materials. A lot of smooth composition with hushed textures and minimalistic patterns. All of this look really leads to a sense of balance, something that we are seeing a lot in design. And I just absolutely love this sort of clean look in a lot of the modern interiors. This works very well, and especially in this beautiful neutral palette. A nice juxtaposition to all of the bold colors in the last trend. So our next trend is golden arches. Curvaceous forms of arches and then softly rounded rectangles, really a characteristic of the Art Deco design period. And it's sort of a nod to that, as well as a nod to organic shapes, but it still retains the grid lines of a tile matrix. So we've got these beautiful curves, they bring a sense of whimsy, and sort of just really a fun way to change up shapes And I love this sort of curved look. We're seeing a lot of the curves in furnishings and everything else in decor as a whole. So having the tile that complements that is really great. We've got this over here on the left, the hexagon, the large hex with the sort of softer rounded edge, different from what we've seen in the past with the clean lines. And then on the right, of course, you've got, again, a mix of that sort of grid lines with the softer curves. I love the mix and match and bringing in this sort of curvaceous arched trend. So our next trend is murals. I love this trend because this is all about bold patterns and just lots of pattern. And we have seen wall covering and wallpaper, and now that sort of mural look can be translated on porcelain tile, whether it's large panels and slabs or just a large format tile itself. We are seeing lots of portfolios of patterns, something for everyone, large scale florals and botanicals, toiles, damasks, more geometric shapes as well. We got some chevron, more floral there. So we talked about the color trend. You're seeing a lot of color in these murals as well. Definitely there are neutral murals that are available, but it's all about mixing these trends and these bold patterns as well as color. And I love that with this trend, this is a way to take what the properties of tile are, and the benefits of ceramic and porcelain tile is that can be used in wet areas, can be used outdoors, things that wall covering cannot be used in. So this provides an alternative to really bringing in those bolder patterns and prints on walls just about anywhere. So I love this trend, lots to see. Our next one is the plaster look, something a little bit different and sort of aligns with the current trend towards nature and more earthy elements. So we've got textured wall treatments that are having this resurgence, this sort of look of plaster and artisanal looks. And this textural appearance and the subtle variations replicate the artistic layering of plaster. I mean, it's done so beautifully here. And in these two photos, we have got some color as well with that. You're seeing it in this beautiful sort of leafy green like we talked about, and then we've got some other tonality as well. And here again in the more neutral, it's also fits in with that sort of very organic aesthetic that we're seeing in design. This is a great complement and a great tile for any project that's sort of bringing in that feel in the neutrals, but in the colors also gives you the opportunity to amp that up. So a beautiful look as well. Now our eighth trend is polarized marble. So polarized marble is just one of those breathtaking, trends. When you look at a lot of these photos here on the screen, they just stand out. They're bold, they're beautiful, mimicking the look of just really exotic and bold natural stones. And while white marble looks still reigns supreme, of course, the fierce stone look of the past is taking a back seat to the refined spectrum of the marbleized look. We are seeing a new approach with organic variation here, like we see on the right, and of course, just a great variation of the veining and overall aesthetic being more homogenic. And there's definitely a symphony of textures and finish effects. I mean, it's really just such a wow statement, whether on a wall or floor, as you see here, or both. Now, our ninth trend is shape scaled. We talked about how we have seen the oversized hex in last year, but now in 2022, it's bringing other oversized shapes as well. We've got triangles, we've got diamonds, parallelograms, and some of their counterparts by going pocket size with the hexagons, the polygons, and configuration in many eye-catching patterns. It's really limitless with this trend. I mean, you could do so much, as you see around this bar area, this sort of circle inside of the square. These you can mix up with so many different colors, and I love this trend because not only can you incorporate a lot of the colors from all of the trending colors we're seeing, but really play up the design and patterns with different shapes. I mean, I truly believe in this look, if you gave a mixture of different shapes and colors to this 10 different designers, and you would get 10 different looks. So there's so much opportunity for beautiful and unique designs with tile, not only with the different shapes and sizes, but also with the colors. And our final trend is warm stones. So last but certainly not least, this is just a beautiful soft look And again, that's kind of bringing in that natural feel and the subtle texture to a space, whether it's walls or floors, again, or both. And this is sort of warming up of color palettes in the past few years. We've been seeing the reemergence of the beiges and the soft tones, also still having the grays and the taupes, but this general sense of warmth, we are still seeing in design. So this sort of follows that and definitely bringing in a very soft tonality to just about any project. So these are a few more looks in the warm stone trend. Again, warmth, subtle veining, subtle texture, and just an overall very calming aesthetic, perfect for those spa baths or the sort of very soothing spaces. So that is a wrap up of our top 10 tile trends of 2022. This is just a small snapshot, but you could see all of them and more at this year's coverings, which will be April 5th through 8th in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And of course, registration is complimentary and open now on coverings.com. So don't forget to register if you already have not. And lots to see. So many great trends, a lot of exciting things for tile in 2022. And now I am going to turn it over to Ryan Poussin with Tile of Spain. He is going to present a case study on the captivating colors trend. And there's a lot to see here and a lot of good stuff. So without further ado, I am going to turn this over to Ryan. So just give me a moment here to switch that over.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Alina, and thank you, everyone, for showing up today on National Tile Day to look at a sort of snapshot of trends. As Alina mentioned, my name's Ryan. I'm here to talk about the captivating colors trend on behalf of Tile of Spain. And, you know, it's really tricky doing a color workshop because there's so many talented forecasters out there, as Alina mentioned, in all the paint companies, in the Pantone Institute. Oh, look at that. You guys can't see me. Hi there. Now you can. So there's so many experts talking about color, and we get all of these different color forecasts. So I thought I'd take a bit of a different approach this year and look at, because it's really interesting in 2022 how we're using color, how we're approaching our decisions around color, and why we're selecting the kind of broad range that Alina showcased very beautifully that we are in 2022. So always it's best to go back to the beginning and kind of look at definitions and see if there's any kind of clues that we can come up with from those. And when you're looking at the definition of color, it tells us some really interesting things, because it results from the light that they either absorb, transmit, or reflect. And what that tells us, and tells specifically, is that it's one of the most direct ways for us to engage with the user of the space that we're creating, because the color choices that we use are completely subjective to their experience, their position, what's going on in the exterior environment, and the lighting that we provide them, and how it interacts with the colors that we're choosing. So what I've done is I've selected actually 3 award-winning projects from this year, and they all showcase each of these kind of key ways that we're utilizing color right now. And the most recognizable and in-your-face kind of way that we're doing it, as we saw throughout all of those pictures, and we'll see in all of these projects, we're doing, as the biophilia trend kind of came on and we started falling back in love with natural raw materials, we're using a lot of them in our projects, and they need to be kind of offset and abridged by a lot of white space. So that's the perfect time for color to be a foil for those natural, raw, simple earth tones and the broad expanses of white space. Color is that kind of punctuation, that exclamation point that draws our eye in a certain space and then sets off all of those natural elements. Again, we talked about super deep saturation and the use of color as a foil. We also use it very subtly as an overall filter. In the case of this like green space here, this kind of showcases it very, very well, where everything's just got a hint, an overall wash of green to build layers of interest, to build depth of story in the space. And using color in that way. It's also really interesting to me that we're looking at temperature and playing with temperature much more in a much more refined way this year than we have in the many years past, because we're being very, very deliberate in sticking to either a warm or a cool temperature band, and only stepping outside that when we really need that aspect of color as a foil to draw our eye to a design feature, or even point out functionality of a space. And then finally in color, and this is one thing that I love about tile as opposed to other materials, is we can really play with finish, because the more glossy a material is, the more it reflects other colors and other lights within a space, and the color of the tile itself actually becomes more washed out. So when we want a color to read true all the time, no matter what the light conditions or perspective of the user, we do it in a hyper matte. And when we want to add light and add volume and have the color kind of blur throughout the space, we add more and more gloss. And we'll see that in the projects that I'm choosing to focus on. But first of all, I wanted to kind of highlight where this is all coming from. And I think it's really coming from our love and need for nostalgia and kind of feel good memories right now. And so we're experiencing this really interesting wave of nostalgia. You see it all over the place in furniture design, in TV and movies, especially right now. There's all sorts of reboots that are happening, and it's really entering the design world in a very interesting way that I think really kind of stems from the architectural language in Europe, where they have all of these beautiful old buildings to work with. And we lead a group of architects and industry editors throughout Spain every year, and this is the one thing almost everyone has as a takeaway: is it's amazing to see all of these additions and add-ons to older buildings that are in harmony and in relationship with their surroundings, but they're so modern and so different. You can't help but know that this was done in a different period, and yet it's in relationship and it's harmonious. So it's dissonance, but it's a strategic use of dissonance. And I think that really speaks to how we're using color. And we'll see that in these 3 case studies that I'm featuring right now. They're all award-winning projects from this year. There's a retail project, which is a camper store that was a covering installation design award winner this year. The Bixto House, which is a new build, a new construction in a rural suburb of Barcelona, and a beautiful restoration of a master architect designed multi-family tenement in Barcelona also. So each of these sort of highlights the ways that we're using color specifically in 2022, and the camper store really kind of focuses on that, paying attention to temperature to highlight the space and the reason for that space's existence. Now, it's overall, it's mostly cool, but they're warm leaning greens and yellows that have relationship to the iconic red of the camper brand that's on the back wall and welcoming everyone to that space. I love the thought and care that goes into the color combinations this year, that everything is adjacent and in relationship to each other. And there's that strategic dissonance of that branding color. That's branding really done right. That iconic red that's on every pair of camper shoes is right on the back wall of that space. Now, the Bixto House is another one that this is, again, strategic dissonance. It's a hyper modern rancher that pays attention to the topography of the area. It pays attention to the design language of this rural community in rural suburban outside Barcelona. But it's a very modern family that wanted this space with lots of vibrant color. So the exterior is all natural adobe brick but it has a very strong punch, that foil aspect of a red roof and red window shades, but it's all one color. So it's in relationship with its surroundings. And then as you get into the space, all of the support columns of the natural concrete, unfinished concrete, are all skinned in these beautiful arrays of ceramics with little picks of the red coming through, that's in relationship with the exterior. Now, this Jose Antonio Coderch project from the 70s is a stunning multifamily project that a family was moving into one of the suites and really wanted to pay homage to this master architect's original concept. So the designers actually went to the government archives and got the original plans, did as much restoration as they could. But again, they wanted to have that modern flair. They wanted to do a reboot, not just a reprisal of the previous architect's work. So they gave the family some personality in each of the bathrooms. The master suite, the suite off the main bedroom for the parents, is in that soft green palette, and the kids' bathrooms are in bright and vibrant colors. It's the only color utilized in a space, but again, it's this use of color blocking and the strategic dissonance that we're embracing broad ranges of color in our projects today. So I hope I've given you a new way to think about color in 2022 that is inclusive, that is somewhat dissonant and yet harmonious. That it's this paradox that we're in love with in 2022, utilizing color in a completely different and amazing way in all sorts of different projects. And that's the end for me. So now I hope I've set the stage to pass it off to Kristen. No, Roxanne, sorry. So I'm going to pass it off to her.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Let's see here. I'm on the wrong one. I'm going to dive into this Baroque trend a little deeper, which Elena described earlier is involving the floor-to-ceiling marble looks in striking colors with really dramatic veining that imbue a sense of grandeur and movement into a space. And as she mentioned, it can also include metallic accents and some reflective surfaces. To see this trend, we're going to go take a little photo tour of a luxury condo building in the Hudson River, which was completed last June. It's called Solaya, and it incorporates this Baroque look to really excellent effect in various spaces throughout the building, most noticeably in the spa areas. There's 3 floors of a spa in this building. A couple notes from the designer, from Jacqueline Isaac was the designer. One of their challenges that they had was massive amounts of new luxury developments that line this river road it's on. They used the building's name and ethos, Solaya, which means a place where the energy of the sun radiates. They used that as an opportunity to differentiate the building with a sun-inspired color story. So the building's name drove the vision for the design direction, and the interior finishes complement the views that you see there of the New York City skyline. They wanted an overall look that was elevated and classic, yet different enough to stand out in a sea of white and gray condos that were around. So they leveraged these natural materials in warm tones to achieve a wellness aesthetic and an overall sense of relaxation and calm, especially throughout the spa. This hallway that you see here is the main hallway in one of the spa floors. They were also challenged to have minimal grout lines in this large part of the building, this commercial application. So they opted for a lot of these large format porcelain panels. Porcelain slabs were installed throughout the spa in this beautiful onyx green in most of the walls. So that's something that they knew no other building along the New Jersey coast right there would have. This, what we're looking at, is the entrance into a salt therapy or a halotherapy room. And in the spa, they knew that they would have a lot of people walking barefoot, and there would be high touch surfaces, and they're going to see a lot of moisture. So hygiene was one of the designer's primary considerations, leading them to select these porcelain panel surfaces. Local mill workers created custom porcelain panel furniture for various areas, including these bed platforms, which are heated by infrared mats underneath. And in this room, throughout the spa, slip resistance was also a requisite, as people will mostly be going from one wet room basically to another. In this case, a steam sauna led into this room, as well as a large shower. So they used a porcelain tile with a sort of a pebbly finish for added traction in here. This is the large shower room that's connected, and like most of the areas, basically one large wet room. You can also see another porcelain panel furniture here that shows the green slabs from the hallway repeated in the shower seating. It's not necessarily a floor to ceiling installation, but a nice callback to the main hall. And then there's a coordinating custom mosaic also installed in there. Here, this is one of the saunas. They have a wet and a dry sauna. This is large format panels, floor to ceiling again. Using as many large format tiles as they did, it was very important for them to work closely with and have a qualified installation team that they trusted would achieve watertight installations in all these rooms, and you know, to match the veining to look perfect. These are the locker powder rooms. And in these powder rooms, they included a metallic brushed ceramic tile, which, as we said earlier, was another element of that Baroque trend. The ease of cleaning was another big factor that played into these surface selections, because being that it was a condo, they knew it'd be handed off to property managers who'd be hiring out regular cleanings. So making sure that these were low maintenance surfaces was also a priority. This is a look into the owner's lounge kitchen, where they used a fluted black and white marble look tile to clad this arched opening. So it's floor to ceiling, and then you can see like the bottom of the arch is also tiled. Each of these common areas, you can see that has its own design and its own personality, and they really flowed seamlessly together with that that continuous theme of the floor to ceiling marble looks. This image was actually the designer's rendering, and this is the actual completed design. And these large scale marble looks really enhance Solaya's luxury living environment. This is a couple images of a master bath in one of the residential suites. They used floor to ceiling porcelain panels on the primary walls and on the curbless shower floor, and then they paired it with a teak look tile. The pairing creates a really soothing sanctuary for these bathrooms. And the final look is into one of the residential units. There's nothing floor to ceiling about this one, but you can see the bright onyx porcelain slabs that they used for the countertops and the backsplashes in these 70 residential units. Again, not necessarily adhering to the Baroque trend, but a great use of these porcelain panels again. The amount of large format porcelain that they used is unique to have in the multifamily space. So they had a great time taking buyers or designers and builders through this building and watching the reactions. And the designer was very, very pleased with the investments that they made in these surfaces, and said they're certainly paying off. So that's all we have for the Solaya project. Go ahead and put any questions that came up into the chat. And in the meantime, I'll hand it off to Kristen to take us through our final case study. Kristen, we have you?
Yep, sorry about that. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Roxanne. And hello, everyone. I am Kristen Coleman, Senior Vice President of Novita Communications. And as a marketing rep for Ceramics of Italy, I'm super excited to join this conversation on tile trends. It's one of my favorite topics. And today I'm going to present 2 case studies for Crisp and Clean, which were winners of last year's Ceramics of Italy tile competition. And as you'll see in the slides I'm about to show you, both projects make really great use of large format concrete look porcelain tile to create sleek and modern spaces. But what I also found interesting is the fact that both design firms started out with the intent of using concrete, but found porcelain to be easier to work with, more consistent, and actually better suited for the project. So the first case study I want to show you is the Cove at the Piazza, which is part of a new apartment complex in Philadelphia's Northern Liberties neighborhood. It was designed by Post Brothers, which is a real estate development company focused on high-end multifamily residential. So as Elena mentioned, hushed textures and minimalistic patterns can really lend a sense of balance. And when you add gauged porcelain panels to that equation, you have the perfect solution to create uniformity and architectural harmony, as you can clearly see in this photo. So the Post Brothers acquired this property in 2017, which was a multifamily complex built on the site of an 1860s brewery. And you can kind of see that, the Schmitz logo in the background on that brick building. It consisted of 3 concrete towers around a vast public plaza with ground floor retail. But like the firm's other properties, Post Brothers wanted to amp up the amenities, so they decided to turn the large open plaza into an amenity pool club with a series of abstract pavilions and 3 unique pools to create a kind of modern Roman grotto. According to the designers, they had seen several inspirations of monolithic triangular forms done in concrete, but it wasn't feasible given the complexities of the project. After researching alternative materials, the firm decided to use large format porcelain tile from Mirage's Global collection that emulates the subtle nuances of concrete. So the design team worked with Nemo to supply the tile, Philly Tile for the installation, Mapei for the installation materials, and Mega Supply Pro for the mechanical fastening system for the porcelain cladding you can see around the structures. Taking advantage of the grand scale of the surrounding buildings, the tile was able to play off the light in a manner that continuous concrete could not. The abstract and unarticulated design pavilions chart the sun's path, warming some surfaces, shading others, and projecting animated shadows throughout the piazza. Meanwhile, the water of the pools further reflects rippled light onto the surrounding smooth surfaces, creating something unexpected, calming, and cleansing, even in the middle of a dense urban environment. The unique characteristics of the tile and the range of thicknesses and finishes available allowed the firm to use a singular material on all of the surfaces of the pool club, including the floors, walls, inside and outside of the pavilion structures, as well as the upper interiors of the pools and hot tubs. And again, according to the designers, the warm tone coloring, the soft texture, and the large format of the tile lent an even more inviting palette than concrete could offer. So I want to show you one other case study, which is a penthouse apartment in Miami Beach designed by Mojo Stumer Associates. If you're not familiar, they're a firm based out of New York that's known for their really gorgeous modern architecture and interiors. So they worked really closely with the client on this project, and their design intent was to create a semi-industrial modern space and avoid the overly colorful kind of blue and white Miami look. They wanted to introduce a lot of concrete and steel into the project and work with artisans to hand apply concrete to the walls. But they had a hard time finding a level of consistency from wall to wall, and also the rough and raw texture of real concrete was posing a problem. So at that point, they decided to change course and move entirely to large format porcelain tile with a concrete effect. They worked with Florim and the Miami-based installer Dutch Master Tile and Marble to clad the walls in the entry gallery, living room, dining room, and family room from floor to ceiling with tile from Chedid's Matrice collection. According to the designers, the concrete look finish of the tile has beautiful modeling, varied enough from piece to piece to limit any repeating patterns, but creating a perfect balance and consistency of color and tone throughout the entire space. The large format of the tile panels also help to emphasize the height and significance of the space, while carefully located staggered joint lines kept it from feeling overbearing and oversized. So in the end, the tiles ended up being the perfect material for the space, kind of serving as a neutral backdrop to showcase the panoramic views of the Atlantic Ocean, as well as the owner's extensive pop art collection. It also allowed them to execute a lot of their originally planned details with almost no compromise. So that's it for me. If you want to learn more or see other projects, these are the links for Ceramics of Italy. And now I'm going to pass it back over to Alana Capra.
Thank you, Kristen. So that was the three of you just presented some really incredible case studies on the Baroque, the crisp and clean, and the captivating colors, tile trends. So thank you all. They're such inspiring and beautiful projects, and I think gets us excited about the trends to come. So I now want to open it up to everyone for any questions you may have for the panelists or myself, and you could just put them in the question box in the GoToWebinar panel on the right if you have any, and we will do our best to answer those. Give you just a few minutes to type your questions in. Okay, not have anything yet. Give it just another few moments.
Yeah, well, we're always happy to answer questions after this talk too.
Absolutely. It was so thorough and there was so much. So maybe everyone's questions are answered for now. And if you don't have any, I'm going to turn it back over. Oh, we have
Alana, we do have one.
Okay.
What are you seeing trending for swimming pool and spa applications?
That is a great question. I'm in South Florida, so of course we have a lot of pools and we're seeing a lot of different things. And of course, we're still seeing a lot with mosaic as well, beautiful mosaic. So it's really a huge mix of everything. I think it's something that's so user specific. And as you see with all of the trends that we've had, there truly is something for every style and everyone. So I think it's sort of all encompassing. I know it's hard, not the best answer of saying, but there's a lot of different things that we're seeing.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the market and the type of project. I saw like over the past few years, like in a giant new multifamily complex in Manhattan, they used really gorgeous kind of Carrara look, like a marble look tile throughout the whole indoor pool area. But then, you know, others will take more of like a dramatic, dark, using like black glossy tiles. So it really depends on also the taste of the client and the designer. So.
Absolutely.
Whatever the look they're going for too, I think it's a lot more common these days to use something that can be used from the indoor to the outdoor. So like a tile design that you love, you choose, and then a lot of times now there'll be a slip resistant option, so you can just, continue that look right to the pool surround area. Also really great for around those areas are the 2-centimeter pavers that we're seeing a lot more of these days, that can be laid, outdoors just in sand or grass or installed, the usual way.
There's kind of an interesting revival in traditional, say, like 4x4 porcelains with a high glossy glaze being done for the pool interiors, and that scale and color tone is an amazing contrast for the large format panels that we're seeing done in the surrounding areas, like that project that Kristen featured. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of contrast right now between the 2cm pavers, the large format 5-foot by 11-foot sort of panels that are going in, and then the revival of the small format classic pool tile. That there's some really interesting options that have come out just in the past year or so, that's really giving a fresh look on that classic style.
So there truly is, I think, something for every style, which is the best part of why we love tile and why we celebrate National Tile Day today. So Michelle, do we have any more questions in the chat?
Yes, we do. Someone asked about 3D tiles. It's just kind of a general, how about 3D tiles?
Okay.
They're great. It's something that has been incredibly difficult to do technically for a very, very long time, because you have to, most of the tile is dry pressed, and you have to get it to release from that mold. And crisp lines, especially vertical lines, were almost impossible to get out of an impression mold like that. So we're seeing it being done now because of improvements in technology and finer atomizations of the clay, and it's being augmented digitally by different inks that have different properties that can either add or decrease volume from the surface as well. So I mean, Alina showcased a whole bunch of different 3Ds that are really strong relief and then really, really fine relief in things like marble and concrete, where the little pock marks and the vein structure is actually being enhanced digitally on top of what they can do in the press as well. So, I was flippant in my first answer, but it actually is really exciting what they can do in 3 dimensions now in tile.
From a design standpoint, there's just so much too. I feel like initially, years back, it was tend to be more modern and bold type of very modern looks. We have sort of something for every style, which again, like the more organic trend where it's a softer 3D pattern, something not as crisp, and we're seeing a little bit of everything, and very realistic looks as
So
well.
Kristen, can you reshare the name of the design firm that you mentioned? Someone has asked for that.
Sure. I mean, the first project was Post Brothers with the outdoor amenity pool. The second one was by Mojo Stumer.
Great, thank you. And then another question came in, what are the trends for kitchens that you see going forward? And kind of piggybacking on that, because someone asked, are you seeing any past popular trends formats dying out in 2022?
Definitely seeing a lot of the full height backsplash still, whether it's with porcelain slab. I think that very clean aesthetic here in my market, for sure, it's very strong in South Florida. So I'm doing a little bit less of smaller, but again, it's sort of ever changing, because when you see the smaller mosaics, I'm still doing on some backsplashes, but it's user specific, because we still are doing smaller shapes, but there is that trend of doing that very clean aesthetic. And So it's sort of 6 of one, half dozen of another, where if you like the clean look, there's something for that. And also we're still doing some smaller, more interesting tile if it ties in the design in that way. Also the thinner countertops, we're doing thinner, but we're also doing super thick. So it's a little of everything too.
I think Roxanne's case study really kind of shone a spotlight on the change that's happening. It used to be really kind of the 1% high budget custom residential that did same countertop and seamless flow to backsplash, so that the countertop and backsplash was one entity. And it's really moving into a mid-market kind of multifamily look now, as prices are more approachable, and more importantly, the installation expertise and working expertise on products like this is a bit more widespread. We're seeing it trickle down into more multifamily and mid-market projects. I think Alina's right that the smaller format backsplash isn't always the de facto answer anymore, which it was for the longest time. I mean, it was either mosaics or subways, and that was kind of it.
That's true. It's such a good point. I feel like when I started, that was always the options, but we just have more and more. And I think that's the excitement of everything is as technology improves, as offerings improve, we have so much to choose from and design with.
Yeah, I'm personally really excited about the kitchen space of all this, because just seeing every year new introductions. Now there are lots of like turnkey solutions for kitchen and bath designers, and there's a couple of Italian manufacturers that are making systems with built-in induction cooktops,
Yes.
into the porcelain panel. So, as a lot of things are becoming more seamless in kitchens in general, I think tile is playing really well to that.
Yeah, that kind of speaks.
Oh, go ahead, Erin.
Sorry. I was just going to say that kind of just plays into how we've been using our spaces for the past little while, and realizing, well, we need flex spaces. So if a kitchen can also be, an office and a schoolroom and a Zoom conference center and everything else, it's a great thing.
Another thing that's really appealing, especially for kitchens, are a lot of the tiles that are being made available with like the antimicrobial coatings, or things that just make your kitchen space, any space really, but especially the kitchen, a more hygienic, easily cleaned area.
I know one manufacturer was doing like kitchen cooking seminars and stuff at one of the trade shows, and they had full porcelain slabs, and there was a chef that was doing flambe right on the countertop, which really kind of showcases everything Alina started off with telling, and the high performance of ceramics, as well as all the beauty. It kind of makes it pretty cool for kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to stop you guys here because we're a little bit over. But I want to thank you all. This was a terrific session. Great presentations as always. Great information. On behalf of Coverings, thank you. Thank everyone for joining us. When you leave today's webinar, you will receive a survey on the presentation. We appreciate it if you would complete it, provide your feedback. And of course, please enjoy the rest of the day's events. And I hope to see all of you at Coverings 2022 in person in Las Vegas, April 5th through 8th. As Elena said at the beginning, registration is now open, and as always is complimentary. So to register, just visit coverings.com. Thank you and have a great day.
All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.